God and Man. Guideposts for Spiritual Peace and Awakening. Written by Masahisa Goi. Chapter 6. Part 6. True Religions and Mistaken Religions. If you seek a true spiritual leader, the first thing to do is to turn all your attention to your guardian spirits and divinity, and earnestly ask for their help. Your guardian spirits and divinity will surely send you to the spiritual leader who is most suitable for you. When you meet the spiritual guide you have been longing for, you will have a feeling somewhat similar to peace of mind, or a delightful feeling, as if you have come home after a long journey, or rediscovered something that is dear to you. Suppose you are invited to a religion where the teachings are very noble and high, but after praying to your guardian spirits and divinity you do not wish to go. Or perhaps you do go, but after going you feel uneasy about it. In this situation it is not necessary for you to take part in the religion with a reluctant feeling. This is because that teaching does not suit your spiritual state at this time. In everything, the first thing to do is to pray to your guardian spirits, who are the guides of your spirit and the guardians of your behavior. They will definitely cause a good leader, or good partners to appear in front of you in this actual world. I sometimes hear the admonitions given by people who are convinced that since God exists within each person, no one needs to receive teachings from anyone else. They give advice to their friends, saying, for example, since you have divinity within yourselves and are spontaneously being guided for the better, there is no need for you to be taught or purified by anyone else. These sound like words of truth, but they are very much mistaken. The inner divinity always guides a person through human beings and through circumstances. Thus, there are many cases where one is led by the inner divinity to meet a certain guiding person. It is really important for human beings to faithfully practice the truth. And this spirit of faithfulness must always be based on earnest prayers that fully attune oneself to the guidance of the inner divinity, including one's guardian spirits. One must not forget that one's inner divinity always includes one's guardian spirits and divinities. Even if a religious group itself is fine and right, there are many cases where the people who preach its teachings are in error. So it is also very important to pay attention to this point. Also, even if a teaching is truly fine, and as far as the teaching itself is concerned, no one could teach anything higher, if the teaching cannot be put into practice, as is, in this physical world, it can be called unripe. To give an example, one might explain that a human being is originally without form or shape, is one with God, is light itself, and has a real existence that is free from all obstacles. One might then go on to say that it is therefore not at all necessary to mention that there is a subconscious world, or that spirits live after death, but that one should just intently and unceasingly think of God. This theory is true and there is nothing to be said against it. However, how many people are there who can reach a state of spiritual peace and awakenment by intently and unceasingly thinking only of God? Are there any people who actually can, at all times, intently and unceasingly think only of God? These are the realistic questions. In an age like today's, when materialistic knowledge and information are flooding this world, it is almost impossible to guide modern-day people toward their awakening only with theoretical explanations about a human being's real and original existence. Teaching people only that they have the nature of God and are essentially free from obstacles. What spiritual leaders ought to do is to offer teachings about the original self, the real existence, and perfect reality of a human being. And while doing so, to explain karmic cause and effect, and let people have a knowledge of the physical, subconscious, spiritual, and divine worlds. They must explain that, though the essential self exists in the original, divine world, human beings' karmic causes and effects travel about through various kinds of worlds. And they must teach and guide people on what they can do to actually confirm the existence of their essential self, and become an awakened being in the world of absolute reality. In this regard, the work of psychic scholars and psychic researchers is also important, and mediums in the good sense are necessary, too. Traditional Buddhism, Taoism, and Christianity are also helpful. However, if you become rigidly attached to one of them, not only will you be unable to reach your awakening, but also your phenomenal living conditions and environment will not be able to reveal their essential goodness. Therefore, what each person needs to do is try to know their own karma, including their personality and character, find their good points, good karma, and develop them in real earnest. As for the bad karma, shortcomings, after recognizing it, one should let go of it without attaching oneself to it. The duty of spiritual leaders and guides is to recognize a person's strong and weak points and, based on this recognition, to guide the person in such a way that the strong points are expanded and the weak points eliminated. Again and again, the spiritual leader should nullify the person's weak points without calling attention to them.